Live and YouTube Live. Today I'm talking about the 5 secrets to improve vocal stamina and longevity, a really important topic for artists out there performing night after night, not burning the voice out, and also just the concept of longevity and how do you keep your voice for your lifetime. So vocal stamina and endurance and longevity are really key factors in professional performance. The ability for your voice to last night after night without burning out is a critical component to performing at your peak, no matter how many performances you have per week. The truth about singing is that you can really only wing it for so long. You really need to know what you're doing. And with a little care and attention and the right methods and pedagogy and technique, you can really build that vocal stamina and increase endurance to really be able to sing for hours and hours without burning out. At the top of my peak performance life as a singer and an artist, I could sing for 8 hours at the top of my voice without wearing out. Now that took a lot of technique and a lot of attention. I just realized my microphone is way over here. But so YouTube, bear with me. You guys on Instagram can hear me just fine. But the ability to really be able to last for that period of time, the equivalent of a 45-minute set for a singer is equivalent to a 2-hour, the impact of 2 hours of a linebacker in football, a 2-hour game. So it's there's always wear and tear. There's always inflammation that comes from singing, even when you have good technique, right? So no matter where you are on your vocal journey, you can recover your voice from issues. So it doesn't matter, where you are, whether you've had training or not have training. I've had people that came to me that trained for 7 years and they ended up having nodules because the training was incorrect. It didn't foster the vocal health right down into the training and prepare that singer. It might use methods that get quick techniques, but it didn't prepare them for the long haul. So my co-vocal method prepares singers for the long haul. You won't ever lose your voice as long as you're keeping up with your regimen. And it's buildable and stackable, the method. So we have different exercises and different regimens and sequences and routines that we do for different moments in the vocal journey. If you have to warm up your voice for a performance, if you're trying to recover your voice from a respiratory illness or from oversinging, if you're on tour, if you're getting ready for record, these are all different regimens. Matter of fact, I was just writing out the regimens. I have about 5 different regimens, and that would be a daily practice regimen for your technique that you're doing depending on what point or what phase you're at and what your voice needs. So the 5 secrets that I'm going to discuss today are vocal analysis, the importance of that, unlocking your voice, stripping away compensatory tensions in the voice that are actually causing more burnout, how to get your voice out of your throat, how to build core vocal strength, and how to really increase endurance. So let's dive in. The first step is to do a vocal analysis of your voice. What is your current state? How would you rate your voice right now? On a level of strength, would you say from 1 to 10, 10 being the strongest you've ever been, where are you right now in your vocal strength? Are you at about a 5 or a 4, or maybe you are at a 6? How would you evaluate on a scale of 1 to 10 where you are in your vocal strength? You can feel free to pepper that into the comments in the chat. Are you at a 3? Are you at a 5? Are you just building back, or have you been keeping up and you're at a 6 or at a 7? And then with your stamina, where are you with your stamina? Like, are you able to do, after a 45-minute set, does your voice feel still good, or do you feel a little hoarse? So on a scale of 1 to 10, where's your stamina? Do you find that you're burning out a little early? You're probably like a 3 or a 4. Or do you feel that you are able to last for an hour, 2 hours of singing without a problem? And that stamina and endurance, kind of same sort of thing. So if your voice is burning out after an hour or two of singing, or maybe even sooner, this is a warning sign that your voice needs technical help. And one of the things to start with is my vocal health quiz. And you can take a look, take the quiz and kind of see where you fall with your vocal health. You can find the vocal health quiz in our link tree and in all of our materials. And that's a starting point. And then another starting point is to set up a vocal analysis private session with me where I can listen to your voice ahead of time if you submit material, or you can sing live and I can give you my analysis technically of where your instrument is and set you up with a regimen to make improvements. Number two is unlocking the voice. So when you haven't trained, how many people have trained here? How many people, put your hand up or give a heart or a high five? How many people have not trained? You can just let me know in the comments. When you haven't trained, the tendency is not the tendency. You will use what we call compensatory muscles or accessory muscles. So the compensatory muscles are muscles that compensate for the lack of strength in the core of the instrument. Singing is a balance between air and muscle and a coordination between the two. And how good you are and how skilled you are as a singer depends upon your coordination between those two elements. And and that comes down to technique, like how you use your voice, the technique that you use to sing with. And so you can, like I said in the beginning, you can only wing it for so long. Like if you really want to be able to sing night after night and depend upon your voice, no matter what your goals are. Maybe you just want to sing at choir, or you want to sing locally, or maybe you have professional aspirations. You still need to know what you're doing, right? And so in the cold vocal method, we go through the process of stripping away the compensatory tensions, the compensatory muscles that compensate for the lack of strength. And we strip those muscles away more. We vocalize in a setting where we're actually isolating the core muscles more and building more strength and we unlock the voice. We rescue the voice from those compensatory tensions. Some of those compensatory tensions would be, a really obvious one would be like the back of the neck. Like if you go forward when you make sound, or when you're making a louder sound and you reach your chin forward, or if you're singing high notes and you reach up for the high notes, any movement of the head forward for louder notes, or like this, or reaching your chin up to sing those high notes, you're using the back of your neck, right? So if I'm doing this, I'm tightening the back of my neck, right? And as I'm tightening the back of my neck, I'm using that muscle, contracting that muscle, using that muscle to help me get that sound out. The problem with it, while it might initially work, it doesn't really work. If we go through technical technique together and I walk you through like using the back of your neck and then not using the back of your neck, or some people like scrunch their eyebrows and they're using the muscle in their forehead, or some people are over tensing their jaw. These are compensatory muscles that are tightening to make sound where the sound doesn't come from those muscles, right? So they're interfering with the sound and they're tightening the sound. And if we do exercises where we let go of those muscles and get you in the proper position, you'll realize and learn, oh my gosh, I can make so much more sound without using those muscles. So there's a path in doing that. And until you unlock the voice and strip away those compensatory tensions, you will be adding tension to your voice, which makes it burn out early. It's cumulative. That's why a singer can sing for several years and then all of a sudden start having problems, because it's the technique that they've been using that's accumulating, that's building those tensions, right? And so in my Singer's Gift warm-up, which is the first part of my cold vocal method, we do a lot of vocal stretches and release sequences to release the compensatory muscles and accessory muscles. And then we also do laryngeal manipulation, where we're doing very specific vocal massages that open the instrument. And so you're singing with less tension, right? So just for a moment, just put your finger at the top of your throat and swallow. And you feel how that moves upward. And then begin a yawn. Did you feel the throat slip down, right? So this is a very simple demonstration of why that yawn is important, because it opens the back of the throat. And when you do specific exercises, holding the jaw down, because when you hold the jaw down, watch my finger here, right? Watch the position. So normally we hold the jaw in vice position during the technique, right? But I'm just going to hold it like this so you can see this finger here. So when I hold the jaw down, look at the position of the larynx. See how much further it goes down? So what that does is it opens the throat, but it also creates a deeper bed for those muscles that help in the resistance of the increase in air pressure, or the air pressure, how it's changing as you're singing, which helps you then stabilize the voice, hit high notes with more consistency, and have more consistency in the voice, not be cracking or breaking. Okay, so for a quick announcement, I do have two experiences that you can come into to actually learn the method. And one is a free experience. It's free right now until the 25th of September. So there's 8 more days. And it is called the Better Voice Challenge. And it's for 1 hour workshops. And I walk you through 8 release sequences that unlock your voice, decrease tension, and walk you through this process of eliminating tensions in the compensatory muscles, and then increase sound and power, getting you in the proper positions, using the voice correctly. And you will experience more resonance and volume and power in your voice right there on the spot. So that's my free Better Voice Challenge. I recommend that you hop in that while it's still open. And it's for 1 hour workshops. And you can, once you sign up, you can go through the sequence all at once, or you can go through them in the 4 days, however you want to do it. Do not miss that opportunity. For those ready to jump in with both feet, you can join my Vocal Freedom Circle, which is an 8-week online self-study course that teaches parts 1 through 4 of the co-vocal method. The warm-ups, the vocal therapy and cool downs. It also addresses the speaking voice, which can ruin the singing voice. And then the master voice building exercises, which is a set of 38 exercises I've been using for almost 40 years now, which are incredible for building the voice in the overtone series and the legato line and all those wonderful things that you need in technique. And then the fundamental series, where I leave you with 4 fundamentals that approach the specific aspects of the voice. And they're all recorded on audio and video, yours to keep, and they're 8 modules. So I recommend the Better Voice Challenge. Get a seat in that. You'll see it in all of our links. And while it's still free, and then join the Vocal Freedom Circle. It is an incredible circle. And if you want, we do have a special offer. You have to write into info@Cari to get that offer. Number 3 is to get your voice out of your throat. So what separates singers who last decades from singers who burn out in 3 to 4 to 5 years is the muscle patterning and the technique and the foundational alignment and breath and technique that they use. It's really an epidemic that's quietly destroying careers, because not all vocal techniques or coaches know this stuff. This was from a private studio where I learned from my mentor's mentor, who taught at the Metropolitan Opera. We don't use an opera sound, but the technique can go across all genres, because it really is healthy vocal production. And, I even work with opera singers with this technique to create more stability and round out their tone, to be able to sing with more power and more sound. And you can be working with another coach while you're doing this method, because it's such a biomechanical physical method. It's only going to improve any of the work that you do. And we have it organized within 20-minute sequences for you. 20 minutes a day, 5 days a week is the proven method to feel a difference. So we want to get your voice out of your throat. And part of that is stripping away the compensatory muscles that are over functioning, that are keeping the core strength from being built. And so, one of the first things to identify is which muscles are over functioning to produce sound and which muscles are under functioning. So, over functioning muscles are referred to as compensatory muscles or accessory muscles. They're secondary muscles that the singer might grab in order to make sound, but it's actually interfering, right? And so over on the blog, there's a little exercise where you can go through to just start to notice what muscles are active. You can stand in front of a mirror and you can just sing a scale and notice, is your head coming forward a little bit? Are your eyebrows lifting? Are your is your forehead squeezing? Is your jaw grabbing? Like, this is giving you the information that is telling you what muscles are over functioning, that are overactive in the process of singing, that are actually interfering, right? So if that head is jutting forward, you're using the back of the neck. If the jaw is clenching down, you're overusing the jaw, you're tightening the jaw muscles, so you're using those muscles. Any muscles that are contracting, you're using those muscles as secondary muscles that are actually interfering with the vocal production. So you'll notice some really good singers, they keep their chin level, they're not tightening up their faces as they're singing. But it takes a while to get all of that trained in, so that you're singing more healthfully. And then, sans some other issue, like Celine Dion has this crazy stiff person disease. But because her technique is so good, she's able to work with it. But sans something like that, happening, you have your voice for your whole life, right? Um, so the start is to identify which muscles are interfering with healthy vocal production. And then it's building core vocal strength. So when your voice is weak, you will fall back on your throat muscles and sing from the throat, increasing that strain. And the first step is to decrease the vocal strain and increase the sound to start building your vocal strength. And the untrained core voice is always weak in the core instrument. As we perform technique in this method in particular, a biomechanical method based on vocal science like this, we can strengthen the movements and coordinations to build vocal strength, and consistency in singing, decreasing the strain and improving sound right from the beginning, right? So, and one of the things that we do within this technique is we separate the action of the tongue and the larynx, and most people don't even talk about that. I've had people that have one lesson with me, and true story, a girl training at one of the most prestigious music schools in the US, after about 45 minutes of a 1 hour session, sat down on the floor here, collapsed in a heap. It's actually not funny, and burst into tears and said, I spent $40,000 on my education and I didn't learn one thing that you're teaching me. And my heart just went out to her. My heart goes out to her because this information is not common knowledge, this kind of information. So a lot of people that come to me, they find, wow, nobody's really taught it that way, because my mentor's mentor was a very introverted, private person. That was way before the days of social media, and he very much kept to himself. And then my mentor, just taught private lessons. She never, wasn't online. She didn't bring it to the world. So this information has been kind of a hidden technique, and it's really my mission in the next couple of years to go out there in a much bigger way to get this incredible technique to artists. And there are many famous people who have done this technique: Cyndi Lauper, Steven Tyler. And these are singers that have never lost their voice. Actually, Cyndi had lost her voice when she came to my mentor to work. And then I worked with Donald Fagen and Journey and Steely Dan and a whole bunch of people, and more modern singers, Diane Birch and Jeremy Jeremy Zucker and Chelsea Cutler and Rainsford, and a whole bunch of people, helping them to improve the quality of their voice and the longevity, right? So you don't have to lose your voice. There was a really beautiful video that one of my friends sent me of an opera singer. Totally forgetting her name right now. And I will find it. She is really, she's one of the most incredible, lesser known uh, opera singers, Olivera. Oliveira is her last name. And there's a wonderful, beautiful video of her that my friend Lisa sent me, that of her singing at 100, almost 100 years old. And I think it's Magda Olivero, or I'm just looking for it here. Here she is. Magda, yeah, Magda Olivero. She's an Italian singer with one of the longest careers in the history of opera. She helped Maria Callas quite a bit with her voice. And there's this incredible video of her that you can find on Instagram, singing at almost 100 years old. And her voice is just incredible. So when you have a good technique, there's no reason to lose your voice as you get older. Um, we see singers like Joni Mitchell, my beloved Joni Mitchell, one of my idols, who had this incredible lilting soprano voice, but she, over the years, it got lower and lower and lower, and she's a smoker, so and never trained in technique, had a natural instrument, but then didn't train. And so then when you don't train, you're going to use the compensatory muscles, and then you're going to weaken your instrument. And over time, I get a lot of singers in their 40s coming to me like, what's wrong? I've always been able to sing my whole life, and all of a sudden I'm having all these troubles, and it's because it's cumulative. So one of the best ways to avoid vocal problems is to train with the correct methodology. Hi, Rishari, one of my students from many years ago, many years ago. You're so welcome. Good to see you here. That was many years ago here in this room in New York City, right? I still teach privates. A lot of them are online, though. I work with a lot of singers online. Occasionally, I have some in person. Used to be a factory over here. People were just in and out, one right after the other for years, for like 20 years. And then I developed these online courses, which allows me to teach, go from one to one to one to many, and actually be able to bring the rate down so people can train at an affordable rate. And we have coming up, we just opened registration for my vocal mastery program. So vocal freedom circle is usually the first way people come in, and that's that 8-week self-study, and they learn the method, but it's self-study. And then vocal mastery program is live with me on Zoom. So we do 2 master classes and a coaching call every month for a year. So if you're really looking to learn the method and up level your voice, that's the way to jump in. Even if you've taken Vocal Freedom Circle, you don't know if you're doing the exercises right. You really need that feedback. And you can watch me teach it live. So we just opened that up, and I don't even think we have it up on Linktree, but we will shortly, and you'll see all that information. Early registration is open until the 16th of October. We start on the 22nd. And for around $3,000 for an entire year, and there's payment plans, that are under $300. We actually have an extended 18-month plan. You can join for like 100 something. But for $3,000 for an entire year, this is the last time we'll do it at that price. I won't lead it next year. I'm leading level 3 next year. So this program is level 1 and 2. Vocal Freedom Circle is level 1. Vocal Mastery Program is level 1 and 2. And it's probably about 200 vocal exercises in a real system and method. You use this for that and that for that. It's really incredible. And then next year, I will lead level 3 in 2026. So 2027 will be the next time that I lead this program. If I do, it's not on the schedule right now. And we are creating a university. So I don't know when I'm going to lead this again. So if you're really interested in it, and we also have certifications. So you can get certified to teach the method. We have about 10 teachers right now, just starting in March because they were in this program. But you can add on. You have to take the Vocal Mastery Program to be certified as a coach because you have to learn the method. And there's an add-on for certification to go through it as a teacher and be prepared to teach. So basically, you would go through from October through March of 2027. October 2025, which is starting now through, yes, for a whole year. So it goes through September. That's the main program. And then certification people go through to March of 2027, and then you get certified in March. So if you're looking to add to your menu of services that you offer for artists and be one of our certified teacher, you'd be on the referral page, and it's quite an esteemed uh, thing for you to be able to be one of our teachers. So if you're interested in that, just go to the caricole.com/vocal-mastery-program, and you can find out all the information. But if you're just looking for a quick fix and you want to jump into our Better Voice Challenge, it is 4 1-hour workshops that will literally give you the experience of freeing your voice, of unlocking your voice, decreasing tension, and increasing sound. And the last piece that I didn't really get to was increasing endurance. I think it all stems from the right technique, of course. And endurance in a singer's voice is a result of their biomechanics and how you're using your body and your voice and your coordination of air and muscle to sing with. And a singer who trains has a great advantage over other singers. You'll outlast other singers on stage, you'll outlast them in general, you'll retain longevity way past your prime, you'll stand out because you sound better, because you're developing tone and legato line and all those wonderful range and all those flexibility and stamina and ability to belt healthfully and all of that stuff. And yeah, so I will open it up if anybody has any questions. Post them in the comments now. Happy to answer. I go live every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern when I'm not on break. So in August and in December, I go on break, but midway through December through midway through January, and then the same in August through September. But I'm on now until December 18th, every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And I'm going to be going live quite a bit more kind of sporadically as we move through this next month as we're promoting the Vocal Mastery Program. So if there are no questions, that's fine. But if anybody has a quick question about voice, about technique, about breathing, anything like that, and be sure to check out my mini voice lessons. You'll find them over on YouTube. All of these live streams are recorded live on YouTube. So you can go over to YouTube and hit the live page and you'll see all of our lives. And there's quite a menu of topics there to choose from. And then on Instagram, on our Reels, you'll find our mini voice lessons, and also an artist development expert. So I work with artists with their careers, from artist development to A&R development to strategy. So, and I do have a small label. We haven't been doing a lot with it lately, but it is where we help artists make top quality records that can really position them in their careers. So thanks for spending this time with me today. I don't know David Kyle. I don't. I will check him out though. There are many wonderful teachers out there. They all need to learn this method or know this method or know the secrets of what is within this method. But there are many amazing teachers out there as well. So thank you for joining me today. And I will see you next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. I stream on YouTube, on Facebook, and Instagram every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And head over to caricole.com and get on our list. You'll get our weekly e-zine, and you'll get our promotional emails and our, supportive emails. We're always educating artists with their voices and with artist development. And we also have a membership that you can join for under $50 a month. So thanks for spending this time with me today. I honor you. I respect you as an artist. It takes a lot of guts to be an artist. And I walked the artist path myself and had a record released many years ago, inspired by the 4 agreements. So I really walked the path as an artist. And I'm very devoted to helping artists find their voice, build their brand, and be successful on their own terms and build sustainable careers. So thanks for joining me. I will see you next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Believe in yourself, believe in yourself, believe in yourself. Be brave. See you soon.